Hey, it's Mrs. Greno here. So I am in Module 6, so the first math module that you're going to take on here in Algebra 2, the second half. So this is Module 6 through 10. So the topic of this module is systems of equations and inequalities. So hopefully you remember a little bit, a lot, somewhere between there, systems or solving systems from when you took Algebra 1. What we're going to do with that is obviously same concepts, same procedures, just kind of deepening that understanding and going beyond linear. So in Algebra 1, you really worked on solving systems of linear equations, so straight lines. This is going to get into some nonlinear equations, so a circle, a parabola, all those different ones. With the setup of Module 6, I just want to highlight this as it will be the same for all of your modules throughout this course. The beginning of it has support videos. So in every module, you're going to see these support videos. This isn't an assignment. This is a resource in this module. When you click on it, it is a Google spreadsheet. So if you're having troubles viewing this, let me know just so that you have access to it. So for this, it's basically for you if you go through a lesson and you're having trouble, or you want to just see a topic explained a different way, you just want a straight up video, this is where you can come to. Besides reaching out to me. So any specific questions or reteaching that you want can come from me also. But each of these matches up with your lesson. So you can see here all the ones are 6.01, all the different ways of solving a system. So this is a great, if you go through it, you wrote down an example, but you're still not quite getting elimination, you can take a look at here. 6.02 here, solving systems of nonlinear equations. 6.03, graphing systems of linear equations, and finally 6.05, graphing nonlinear equations. So great examples to look at, and these are ones that will kind of get right to the point of what you need to master to do well in your assignments, and then ultimately the final exam. If I go back to Module 6 layout, each lesson or each section has your lesson tab, and then the assignment will be right underneath it. Notice this has 10 pages. So at this point, you start a new lesson, 6.01. Make sure that you have your math notebook. You have that printed copy of the lesson summary packet, which will include all the condensed notes or lesson summaries from Module 6 all the way through 10. And I'll show you where that pops up in the lesson, but you have that already, so you can kind of see the gist or very brief notes that you want to look at along with whatever examples you're going to write in your notebook. So 10 pages here. At the bottom of the first page, it's always just an introduction, but it'll have those essential questions. This is not your assignment. This is something to kind of reflect on in the beginning and then reflect on at the end, making sure that you can answer it. Okay, as you scroll through the pages, each page, think of it almost, it probably has a main topic. So this is systems of equations. So just understanding what a system is and how to solve it from elimination. So you have that opportunity to kind of slowly release what you need to see. What you'll see also at the end of every lesson page or kind of topic is that you'll have learn more. So this just gives you another opportunity, if you want it, to click on it and see another kind of worked out example of solving in a system. So going through the steps that you need to for that one. As you keep going through the pages, so again, 6.01, here's some real world applications. So interacting with that, you know, guessing what you think the equation is going to look like based on this, since a lot of students, that's part of it is, you know, solving an equation, but then being able to have that real life situation and pulling what that equation should look like out of it. As you keep going through here, so again, all these lesson pages, I'm going to kind of quickly go through these. You can see here special systems. So remember that solving a system of equations, you can come up with a solution, right, such as the point of intersection 2, 5. But you also could have where there's no solution or where the graphs lie on top of each other and it's all real numbers, or infinite solutions, I should say, for that one. On page 5, we get literal equations. So this is the topic always, I feel like even in Algebra 1, sometimes literal equations, what does that mean? So really, this is just rearranging an equation, which is a huge skill in algebra, being able to take an equation, right, and get it alone for a different variable. So maybe, you know, for all of these, it's saying, how would you get x alone? So, you know, this first one, you're just going to subtract y to the right. So just using your same rules as solve an equation, what you do to one side, you must do to the other, being able to do that also with variables and getting a certain variable alone. So working through that, which is then going to lead you into some more problem solving a system. So here's kind of the Algebra 2 version of solving a system. Now you have 3 variables. So definitely kind of pause here. Make sure you get a good example of how this is working out, working with 3 variables and how they work through kind of that opposite coefficient and elimination process to come up with what is the solution for X, Y, and Z. At the end of each lesson, you're going to have opportunities for practice problems, okay? So working through all of those. And actually before the practice problem section, I'm going to scroll all the way down here. This is where you'll see that lesson summary. So if you have the packet already, you already have it. You already have this information in your packet with your notebook. So you can see it gives you a lot, yes. So a lot of the basic steps that you don't then have to write in your notebook, and that's where then the example parts would be great things to write in your notebook, along with any of your assignment problems that you're going to do. After you work through the practice problems, the last page is always your assessment or assignment directions. So again, just making sure you review your examples, you again are thinking about those beginning questions, and then finally going to 6.01 and doing that assignment. So you can start it here and work through it. So again, multiple choice, good and bad, right? I can't see your work. So that's where you want to make sure you're doing your work in your notebook and then choosing that answer correctly and using that ability to resubmit assignments or retake it or making corrections on any assignment. When I look back at the rest of Module 6, you'll see that you have a quiz, usually halfway through. Once you start a quiz, please finish it. Quizzes and tests, you don't have that save option because I want you to be ready, prepared, and kind of submit and complete all the work in one sitting. You'll work through all the way to 6.06, do your practice test. Once you're done with that, I want you to reach out to me, contact me via text or email to set up a time to do your discussion-based assessment. That can be over the phone or a Blackboard Collaborate, but I usually want students logged in, and then we look at this practice test. We kind of look at the problems you did and how any ones you got wrong and go on from there. Kind of wrap up this module then with your tests, so part 1 and part 2. Again, once you start it, you want to finish it. Remember that opportunity for corrections, you're going to have an opportunity to make test corrections in each module, but also assignment corrections. That kind of goes back to this math help folder, that you can also just make corrections on a certain problems and not have to retake that whole assignment, okay? So hopefully you're having a great day, and hopefully this helps you just get a good overview of Module 6 and go after solving systems.